Section 7 of Weird Tales Double Feature, The Skull and the Body Master, by Harold Ward. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Ben Tucker. The Body Master, Chapter 3. What better proof that I was not insane during those horrible months than that during my rational periods I kept a diary, fragmentary though it is, showing as it does the awful strain under which I was placed. The detective instinct must have been uppermost at all times. I remember nothing of writing it, yet here it is in my own handwriting. Evidently so deeply impressed upon my subconscious mind must have been my mission, the fact that I was there to save an innocent man from the gallows, that, like a man in his sleep, I wrote not knowing that I did, obsessed with the one idea, to preserve the evidence which I was accumulating against Darius Lessman. Why he did not destroy the diary, I do not know. Possibly I had it too well hidden. Or he may have not thought it worthwhile, believing that I would never escape. The diary. The ragged stranger was right. Lessman is a body master. Already he holds me in his power. My body is his to do with as he wills. Those into whose hands this writing may fall will probably think me demented, for the human mind declines to believe that which it cannot understand. And while I am under his uncanny power, I may do some act, commit some deed, which under happier circumstances would fill me with loathing. Do not judge me too harshly. Remember that Lessman's is the will which forces me. Another entry in the diary. Last night I killed a man. Of this I am almost certain. I, a man sworn to avenge crime and to track down criminals, have the brand of Cain upon my brow. My hands are dripping with blood. I should be in a cell in Murderer's Row, waiting for an avenging law to hang me, instead of breathing the air of freedom. But am I free? No. 1,000 times no. I am as much a prisoner as I would be behind the bars of a felon's cage. As one watches a motion picture thrown upon the silver screen, I see myself with Meta by my side. We cross a darkened thoroughfare. The details are fragmentary, occasional. I know that we are near a house. A window is open. We enter. At her command, I approach the safe placed in the wall. It seems to open to my touch. Meta is holding a flashlight, and yet it is not Meta. It is another, a girl fair-haired, sweet of face, yet her will is the will of Meta. Meta's is the driving force behind her actions, just as my body is driven onward by the iron will of the body master. Someone is approaching. We step behind the curtain. He enters and snaps on the light. At sight of the open safe he turns. He is about to give the alarm. There is a knife in my hand. I strike. God in heaven, I have killed him. We seize the jewels from the safe and escape. There was the stain of blood on my hand when I awoke this morning. I am a murderer. Oh God, I pray that it was all a dream. Yet it was so realistic that I am forced to believe that it is true. I have discovered the evidence which I set out to find. But what a terrible price I have paid for what I have learned. Under his will, my brain is a vacuum, rattling around within its pan like a pebble in a tin bucket, functioning only when he so commands. But wait! This cannot be entirely so. I must still have some reasoning power left, else I would not be writing these lines. Thank God for that. Yet even as I write, I know that the body master is planning my death. He has it within his power to drive my soul from out my body, to usurp this tenant of clay with his own polluted brain. How he works his wonders I will describe later, if I am able. It is hard for me to think consecutively. Lessman's is the greatest brain, his the most wonderful intellect the world has ever known. His is the accumulated wisdom of the centuries. Since Jesus of Nazareth trod this earth, there has been none who could accomplish the wonders he has performed. Think what a power for good he might have been. I must publish his devilishness to the world. John Duncan lies festering in a felon's cell, perhaps to stretch a hempen rope for a crime that Lessman committed. I must save him if I can. Yet who will believe me? Wise judges and learned counsel scoffed and jeered at what Duncan had to tell. What then will they say when they read these lines? I see them smile derisively and tap their bulging brows in token of my madness. Meta is the lure he used to hold me in his power. My instincts told me to flee the minute I crossed the threshold. Would to heaven I had. Lessman must have read my thoughts, for he pressed the bell which summoned her to his side. One glimpse of Meta Veneta and I was lost. Lessman introduced me to her as his sister. I know now that she is more to him than that she is his soulmate, his affinity. She is his accomplice in all the devilish schemes which incubate within his wondrous brain. Together they can rule the world. Lessman holds that the body is a shell, a house built only to hold the soul, deriving its power from the spirit, the will. To him there is no crime in murder, for his theology holds that the snapping of the thread of life is merely the release of the soul which soars away to realms on high. His is the belief that might is right. He needs the bodies of his victims in order to practice his devilish arts. He has the power to take them, and he uses it to the utmost. He holds that the body is not a prison house, but a slave to will. In his philosophy, it is simply a useful tool over which the spirit possesses absolute control. He is neither a spiritualist nor a theosophist. He is a theory all by itself and of itself. Lessman has elected to live forever. Of that I am certain. He and Meta, the woman he loves. Another entry. There are other poor dupes here, at least a dozen of them. Some of them are maniacs, and Lessman is holding them, I think, with the hope that he can cure their awful malady. For as I understand it, he has no power over a diseased brain. It is only those that are normal that bow to his bidding. We have compared notes. Collins, of Chicago, has rational streaks during which he is able to talk freely. He, like myself, was a detective. I remember reading of his strange disappearance over a year ago. He was on a robbery case, and certain clues led him to New York. Instead of reporting to the police, he thought to take all the credit and capture the criminals himself. He trailed them to Dr. Lessman's place. He, like myself, fell a victim to the wiles of Meta. Now he is at intervals a gibbering idiot. Several of the poor devils, Colin tells me, were placed here by distant relatives. Lessman, wearing the garb of sanctity, talks of his desire to cure them of their nervous disorder, and the relatives, poor fools, glad to rid themselves of the millstones around their necks, turn the wretched creatures over to him. He charges a low rate for their board and medical treatment. To one and all he is known as the Body Master. He teaches them to call him that. They fear him like the very devil. They talk occasionally of a revolt, but when he is near they tremble at his frown. His hold over them is absolute, complete. End of The Body Master, Chapter 3.